and works for plotting a brand story. We'll briefly review some foundational aspects as seed for when you ramp up for storyscaping. This is where strategy and systems thinking first come into play when creating an engaging story. Let's review this valuable groundwork. We all know stories are structured. Stories have a plot, settings, characters, and a narrative point of view. We often see these patterns even when they're not there. Have you ever intuitively predicted what would happen next in a book or a movie? In storytelling, structure is either something you deliberately design or something that unfolds organically, but it's always in there. Think of music with a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. Structure in this context doesn't mean creativity plays a back seat or that your work is formulaic. Think about these structures as building blocks for creativity. You design a structure to highlight the type of story you're telling. You have choices and creative license with your story, and also with the determination of its structure. Structure is where you marry your craft with your art. Think of it as properly laying out the pieces of your model airplane before you glue it, paint it, and send it for flight. British journalist and author Christopher Booker analyzed myths, folk tales, literature, films, and a few soap operas for good measure. 700 pages of his thorough study revealed some repeating patterns that distinguished 7 basic plots, which have been remastered over and over for all of story eternity. Do any of these sound familiar? Overcoming the monster, rags to riches, the quest, voyage and return, rebirth, comedy, tragedy. Which plot is structuring your marketing today? Are you selling by way of Beowulf, King Kong, or aliens, where you have a clearly identifiable evil, or monster who poses a threat to a group of people? Is your hero battling the monster, experiencing some losses over the course of action, and then ultimately conquering and returning peace to the land? The fact is that some story structures lend themselves more effectively for connecting brands and consumers and evoking real participation and social currency, similar to some musical structures which lend themselves more to enticing people to dance. Some stories are more likely to get passed on from person to person and generation to generation. Joseph Campbell, the American mythologist, uncovered that very structure known as the hero's journey in his work. Campbell suggests that, in this structure, the audience connects to the hero through values such as community, justice, truth, and self-expression. We actually see ourselves as the hero in these stories. This formula is perfect for creating brand-consumer connections. 2 contemporary examples of the hero's journey formula can be observed and explored in The Wizard of Oz and Star Wars. Both start with an unlikely hero, one who is ordinary and perhaps even helpless. Both Dorothy and Luke want to live out their higher values. They want justice in the world, but feel powerless to do anything about it. Then, through an interesting twist of events, they meet a mentor who gets them to realize that so much more is possible. The mentor gives them a magical gift, a pair of ruby red slippers or a lightsaber, and sends them off on a dangerous quest of self-discovery. During their adventures, which are filled with trials and tribulations, they both meet the source of brokenness in their world, and they both seize a treasure or knowledge that they come back and utilize to heal society. Through this process, they ultimately learn much about themselves and the world in general. Now imagine Dorothy or Luke as your customer, and the mentor is your brand. Can you see how that would create bonds? The biggest mistake brands make in storytelling is to believe they must play the role of hero. This is just plain arrogant. Your product or service should play the role of those magical ruby slippers. Tom's Shoes is a great real-world brand example. Tom's is a company with a higher purpose of helping others in need. Its business is simple. For every product you purchase, Tom's will help a person in need by donating a pair of shoes. You buy one, Tom's gives one. The company started with shoes and quickly used this successful hero model to expand. Tom's is now also